الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين والذين أنعمت عليهم ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وارزقنا عند وفاتنا بقول لا إله إلا الله ولا قوة إلا بالله.
Distinguished who very new Vice Chancellor. First of all, welcome to the Government House. I am Professor Victoria Kolom, the Registrar. Dr. Mrs. Julie Udensi, Deputy Librarian, Extramural Studies. Affairs, welcome, sir. Officer's Office, welcome, sir. And Colonel Omar the delegation, sir, is His Excellency Man, the Ethiopian Ambassador to Nigeria. The Chief Servant, sir, permit me to show the Vice Chancellor, sir.
The Chief Servant, you, PhD, CON, Albamina, Secretary to the Government. On behalf of Senate and students of Federal University of Technology, Mina, we want to express our appreciation that at very short notice, you agreed to see us this morning. We are grateful for this. Chief Servant, sir, we are very proud of your achievement, especially as an alumnus of our university. This is more so, sir, by your recent decision to pay the school fees and all charges of all degree students from Niger State that are admitted to our university. Chief Servant, sir, prior to this time, Niger State is allocated by federal government regulation 40% of places in our pre-degree program. We have never had the places being filled. Until this year, even those who applied and admitted, we hardly have 50% registering because of charges. But this year, Chief Servant, sir, you directed and approved that the fees of all Niger State students be paid. This will go a long way into increasing the profile of Niger State students. This is important to us because it is an investment in human capital development. Permit me, sir, to say that politicians don't like long-term projects. They undertake projects that will have immediate result. Paying school fees, as you have done, will have result in not less than 10 years. But I want to assure you, sir, that this is a legacy that will even outlive your life. This is very commendable. I pray, sir, that people who are coming after you and your contemporary will emulate this wonderful gesture. To train humans takes a long time. The results of the people you are training now will not come during your tenure. It will not come in the next 10 years, but it will outlive your life itself. We are grateful to this. We, with modesty, sir, want to recommend that the local government chairmen we have should emulate this at primary and secondary level. Chief Servant, sir, we also want to appreciate you and your government for the stand you took during the recent hiccups that we have in our university, especially as it relates to succession to the position of Vice Chancellor. You played a role as a father, which you are. It will then, therefore, not be appropriate for us to settle down at work without coming as a father to greet you. Good morning, sir. We are here, sir. We are your children, and we come to greet you. But at every level, we are needed to your gesture of payment. And if it is possible to see through my answer, you will see that, to me, you have not done anything as greater as what you have done with these students. May you live long. May you be happy throughout life, because you have brought happiness to 569 students of Niger State origin. I'm sure that if others know that you will do this, those people that will apply more than 569, by next year, sir, we will almost be taking 50% of your money to pay school fees because it will go around and they will apply. I'm very, very confident that you will not disappoint them. It is not in your character to disappoint. I'm sure you will not disappoint. Chief Servant, sir, unfortunately this morning we had a fire incident overnight and our search FM got burnt. It is a station that we use in propagation on campus, and people in town fed us back that they enjoy us, but we woke up this morning to see the thing in ashes. Investigations have been commenced and are going on. I was advised, sir, that you graciously promised some time ago to build a studio for us because we still house the studio under our library, and we are just lucky that the whole library did not go. So we want to humbly remind you, sir, that the station you promised us will come into fruition. It is important, not because of the money, sir, but because we have decided at Senate and Council level to name the studio after whoever built it for us. If you can do that, your name is already in perpetuity. But it's in perpetuity with us, but it will be in perpetuity with people who have the opportunity of listening to the studio. You are our alumnus, so I am your vice chancellor. But I know that within the premises here, I cannot give order. When we get out, you come to the campus, I will give order to an alumni of my university. Chief Servant, sir, another request that we have is that the government of Niger State was gracious to give us a parcel of land. We have been having encroachment. We have engaged those who encroach with the help of your ministry, your relevant ministry. We entered various agreements, and the last agreement was with respect that they will vacate our land by 31st December 2012. Substantial number of them are vacated. So some are still there. In fact, recently, some people wrote to us to say that the federal government paid their predecessors, their fathers, 5 million naira, when $1 was 1.5 naira. They now said that 5 million is low. So we will be approaching you, sir, to assist us in persuading them that it is our property. We are holding it in trust for federal government, given to us with the convenience of Niger State government, and that you will have to agree with our previously agreed terms. That is, they will vacate as soon as possible. We will not want to take your time, sir. We are grateful for receiving us. We promise you, sir, that you will not regret supporting us. We promise you that we will keep Niger State constantly in front in all actions we have taken. I cannot end, sir, without thanking you, because it touched our heart. The school fees you have paid, you will not appreciate it, sir, but it has gone a long way. People have been trooping. People who had resigned that they cannot benefit from this program since the announcement had been trooping. We want to thank you, distinguished chief servants, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. We thank you for the audience. We are grateful, and we know that there will be thoroughfare for us to come to you for the slightest problem that you might encounter. Thank you, sir.
West Africa, and Nigeria is blessed by natural resources as well by human resources, by population #1 in Africa. Also now we claim that Ethiopia is #2. Our population is now reached 18 million. So Egypt was second, but now we're past Egypt. We have similar firm stand concerning our continent Africa and beyond Africa. We work together in the political sector, economic sector, social sector. Our bilateral relation based on mutual interest brings us along during the last 15 years. In the political sector, we struggle for peace and the security of the continent. Most Eastern countries contribute a lot for peacekeeping mission in different countries. For example, in the case of Ethiopia, contribute to Burundi, Rwanda, Liberia, Sudan, and so on. Nigeria, a lot of countries. So we believe that we contribute to the continent stability and peace a lot. In the economic aspect, also our relation, one reflect of our relation is our airline, Ethiopian airline, start fly to Nigeria 52 years back. So Ethiopian Airlines served Nigeria more than 50 years at least. So the head of our embassy also equal as the head of Ethiopian Airlines service in Nigeria. Daily we have a flight to Abuja. We have 5 times flight to Lagos. We are demanding to have daily flight from Abuja also, just like Lagos. And we have it for Kano, Port Harcourt, and so on. Beyond that, especially nowadays, in the economic sector, there is a promising trend. Investment flow from Nigeria starts in Ethiopia. To mention one, Dangote Group, they start a cement factory in Ethiopia by investing more than 400 million US dollars. And that is a big factory, which annual capacity is about 3 million tons. Also, there are others on the way. In the case of tourism, most of the time Nigerians use just this as a transit. Actually, since this is a seat for all African countries, a seat for AU, for conference meeting, all of us will go there. But beyond the conference meeting, most of Nigerians use as transit. But both natural and man-made tourist attraction areas, centers. Ethiopia, as you know, it is ancient and historical country. We were not colonized. And we have, in the case of man-made, we have old palaces in different places. We have old churches made of rocks. We have publics. In the case of natural, we have even the scenery of the country. The country by itself is the attraction of the tourists, because the lowest land in the world is in Ethiopia. The lowest place in Ethiopia is 120 meters below sea level. It's called Durban. Again, we have the highest mountain, one of the highest mountains in Africa, 4,430 meters. So you can imagine, and the variety of different climates. And because of this, and we have Ethiopia is called water roof of Africa, mountainous country. Because of that, we have rivers, and our economy is based on agriculture, just like Niger State, Excellency. And so maybe we can have excellent change in this sector, especially in the tourism areas as well. Nowadays, my government give more attention to development state government we have. Because of this, our economic growth for the last 8 years, we achieved a double-digit economic growth, which is witnessed by World Bank. not only by us. And so even the World Bank, the latest developed issue, just in the coming 5 years, up to 15, Ethiopia will be one of the 3 fast growing countries in the world. So this economic growth is attraction for tourist flow from different countries. So we hope from your state also people will come to my country, invest and do business. Nowadays we have many investors from different Asia, Middle East, Europe, and other countries in the sector of textile, agriculture, horticulture, especially flower farms. Maybe in the case of flower farm, it will be one area of experience exchange. And nowadays, within a few years, we achieved a lot in this sector. And generally, my today objective is to come and introduce myself to Your Excellency, have a courtesy call, and in the future we can discuss how to bring this state with our regions, one of our regions, two of our regions, and have experience exchange and try to help the sisterly countries close. Thank you so much.
Chief Servant, please join me in welcoming our troops. And we are aware of their independence apart from the Second World War when Italy tried to see if they would invade the country, but after a while they were sent out packed. The headquarters of the African Union, which was Organization of African Unity before, is also in Addis Ababa. So we're very, very aware of the role that we have been playing, the assistance that we have been giving to Sudan, and now the 2 countries that are neighbors. We are very aware of that. We are also conscious of your agricultural potentialities and strengths. And believe me, I'm very happy that you've come, because we'll find a way to make sure not only the exchange, but that we have investors in the two-way traffic. I have been to Ethiopia 5 times, 3 on official assignment when I was a Minister of Transport and Others and Maritime and ACP AU meeting, and then 2 in my own private capacity. And believe me, anybody who goes to Ethiopia will enjoy it, but we can only advise you that if you have a heart problem, don't do more than just walking around. Don't do other things if you are in Niger State, because like he said, of the height of the city. There was this story that a Nigerian who went and he had this heart problem, so he got involved with you in your office and discuss details. And then if it requires, I will pay back the visit that you have done, so that we see how we rectify some of the issues. But I'm very happy that you're here, sir. I'm happy that the transition is coming out now beautiful. Some of us who believe in God, or who have faith in God, know that whatever will be at the end of the day, it will be. No matter your amount of plan, your amount of whatever you think you have, if something is not meant for you, it's not meant for you. In my party, the PDP, 13 people contested for the primaries to be governor of Niger State. I wasn't here, I was in Abuja as a civil servant. I did not participate. But in 2007, I came home in as it would be. This is what happened. But that does not mean you sit down and not struggle. But whatever you do, you balance up. Like the Muslims, we believe that the saying that look for the world as if you are not going to die, and look for the hereafter as if you die now. So it means you balance up in terms of your strategy, in terms of your ambition, in terms of your other things. I probably, given my background, I said every federal establishment that is put in your neighborhood is supposed to serve you. So on it, it is not a foreign thing that is there in your community. And that is why I hold regular meetings with all the federal officers that are here. In fact, before I came as a governor, I used to relate very well with all the federal establishments. I made it a point, because if you make people happy, even if not Nigerians, if other people come to your community and you make them happy, they will spend their money in your community. But if you don't own them, every little money they make, they go back to their village. So I did the same for FUT, and we did everything. In fact, we almost forced people. Now I understand about 24 minutes. The transition has come smoothly. But please, that which is internal, do not externalize it. Because at the end of the day, it's the institution that will lose out. And if we walk in a place, we all know the process of appointment of VCs, deputy VCs, and whatever. We know the process. So I didn't see why all the hullabaloo that happened in the recent thing. And please, my brother, I want to appeal to you. Be as generous as possible. Be open-minded as possible. God has given you, nobody can take it away from you. But you can either make it a good thing or a bad thing, depending on how you go about it. And I'm going to keep my eyes open, because you are in Niger State. At every admission, Niger State must come first in terms of totality of admission. Otherwise, I will carry myself, go Abuja and tell them I'm not leaving until they remove you. We did a similar thing. When we noticed that suddenly the university was becoming university of another state. And we had to really, people had to come to apologize and do other things, and then we corrected the thing. Whatever it is that you want, please let me know. If it is within our powers, we will do it. If I have to go to Abuja to get it for you, I will do that. But be open with us. Be as open as possible with us. And the people that are encroaching, there seemed to be a tradition in Niger State before I came. And if it is anything for you to appreciate, there was somebody who was trying to claim that even the government house where we are, that compensation has not been paid. So when I heard that, I called him and I said, since you and I were not around when this thing happened, can you go and call me your grandfathers to come and collect? So please quickly do what you have to do. Otherwise, they seem to find a way to go to our courts and start getting judgment that should not have been in the first place. Land has been given to you. Do as much as possible to protect it. If you have to put certain things at the corner of the place, let them go to wherever they will. If we are going back to the economy, there was a time when I was told, when my parents also told me, that a chicken was being sold for abu. Many people here don't know abu. Am I supposed to go back and say the chicken today for 500 naira, that no, we should go back and sell it at that price? No. $1 to 1 naira, that was in fact as early as 80. But immediately after 85, it started going down. So we must be very conscious of such things. But I think they're trying to intimidate you. And you have other people in your community that you can use. People who come from that community. You have many of them. Use them and get to the bottom. Maybe because they see that you are a new person, they want to try you first to see how you can handle it. And sometimes, unfortunately, you may even have people from the inside who will want to cause the problem. So try quickly to find out what is happening and let us know how we can neutralize such things. If compensation has been paid, compensation has been paid. If it was given to their grandfathers, let the late grandfathers come and collect money to go and use it in the grave. It is not right. So I thank you very much for coming. Please get your place in order, because the amount of indiscipline that came in was so shocked. We expect our intellectuals to be more community. So where you have them becoming hypocrites, that they are the one, that is not right. And we must guard against that. As to the school fees, we already have free education in Niger State. And that is why from 2007 to date, we have had an increment in the enrollment of both primary and secondary school up to more than 60%. So we know that if you have that, you must begin to expand the tertiary institutions. And that is why we created the Ministry of Tertiary Education, so as to relate with all the universities to ensure that our products or our students really get places to go. I would like to have universities where somebody will look at me and say, oh, you are not even filling your quota. We do not only fill quotas, but even outside. If you go where at least we have a better relationship, you will discover that Niger State is always the first in such areas. So I thank you very much for coming. But now that we are here, I believe there are questions for you. We use it to, like, yes, sir. Yes, doctor.
Before the Minister of Health and your own domain, they should go and produce doctors. So I don't know, we were proposing FMC either, or
covered so many areas, and we think that we should meet and narrow the scope. But sir, it is different from the issue of 1 billion. The Chief Servant, sir, made a promise to give us 1 billion different from the MOU for School of Entrepreneurship Development.
That promise has lapsed because of at the PDP level, we have agreed that nobody will do anything of such until probably the end of 2014. What happened was, when the youth leader was zoned to North Central, the North Central state zoned it to Niger State. But we still needed to campaign, because even though the zoning was on, within the North Central, there were other people who won the ballot paper. So they went to campaign from state to state. After the election, just like here, people are beginning to bombard me that after my election, I haven't gone back to say thank you. So they went around to say thank you to the PDPs of this state. And, you know, since now 2015 is the in thing, somebody thought that I sent them out. No, they went on a thank you tour for the election of the youth leader. If it is God's will that I will come out, believe me, I'm not afraid. I will come out. What it will be. But I am not out yet. I needed to say this because I thought I should keep quiet. I saw it in one paper only. And when I read the content of there was no relationship with the headline. So I thought it's, you know, but I woke up today again, I had that BBC said, they are looking for news. So every little thing that you do, I am not just owning that by God's will, if it is. All my elections have come that way. I was in school when they asked me to run for House of Reps. I was praying for head of service when they asked me to come back home. So if it is God's will to tell people to ask me, I will not hesitate. But I am not out yet. This is for you, because all the information came from other people from us. I don't know the kind of language that was used that people didn't understand. It was simply a thank you to her. And by the way, there is no way I will do it without consulting with you. And it's too early. By party supremacy, nobody should do. Even the president said he's not doing it until then. So let's wait. Thank you very much. Now, the Commissioner of Investment, Commissioner of Agriculture, Commissioner of Livestock and Fisheries, Commissioner of Oil, Gas and Mineral Resources. You will, so who will you? Oh, yes, tourism. Oh, yes. Ethiopia tourism, yes. Where is he here? Okay. The five of the kind of cooperation that we will need. Believe me, Ethiopian Airlines has become the most reliable plane that people use. Particularly those who are going on medical tourism. They normally use it to go to India or other places, and it's relatively cheaper than most of the airlines do. And somebody told me that they smile more. The stewardess, they smile more than other. He will arrange with the ambassador when he has an opening, so that you alert them, and then they will come over to Abuja. After that, then I will visit the embassy. Let me thank you very much. Yes, sir. How are you, sir? Yes,
Kevin, we've met before.
I know. I actually didn't know you were the one.
We met in Enugu. The third time is the last one.
Huh? Which is better for you?
Abuja to here next to Mr. Wasiri. Well, and Mr. Hassan, Mr. Sadiq, absolutely to everyone. We are very glad of being today here in Niger State. It's our first time in Mina, but we hope it's not the last time.
This is the first time?
In Mina, it is.
First time here.
It's a pleasure and it's a discovery.
Absolutely, yeah. We've already had the opportunity, of course, to see the
Ranch before coming?
yeah, we stopped off there. It's just breathtaking views, really.
We are here to put the lift for us to get to Zumarok, and so people are really satisfied. People are okay, then they start looking for leisure, start looking for what to do in other places. But once people are not too okay.
Yes, actually. So, Chief Servant, we prepared a little presentation so that we can all understand better our project here in Nigeria. Same way you welcome us to Nigeria, I welcome yourself to our world.
To the world.
So we are a united world. We are an international consultancy firm specialized in branding nations. The way we brand them is through these reports we distribute with America's #1 newspaper, USA Today. So we have an expertise of over 20 years, and during this time we have been working in more than 80 countries, producing more than 180 reports. Our media partner, USA Today, we've been working for them for the last 20 years. We produce content for them, such as, or in the form of these reports, because, well, as I was saying before, we are specialized in creating content and doing research in order to make a study and see which sectors of each of the countries we are working in, together with the government, are the ones that should be promoted and highlighted within the report. In addition to our print version, we are very proud of this online news portal because it was launched less than 1 year ago and it's already visible to more than 30 million users through Facebook. So this is a collaboration between the leading international press and news agencies, and we all collaborate by uploading the most recent and up-to-date interviews we conduct with the leading personalities of a country, such as head of state, governors, CEOs, well, the people that rule a country. We upload an average of 6 interviews per day, and well, it works as an investment guide. It's very well organized, and in only 3 or 4 clicks you are able to get a complete understanding of what's going inside a sector of the country you are looking at. In order to get the biggest impact, both the 2 most visited sections of USA Today, money and news. So when you click on it, you get directed to Worldfolio. With USA Today, you travel constantly to the US. You were studying there a few years ago, but well, just a reminder is that it's America's #1 newspaper. It is the only one distributed throughout all the states of the US, and it reaches 3 million readers on a daily basis. Together with usatoday.com, it reaches more than 5 million readers. So it's quite interesting. It's the newspaper of choice of the top businessmen in the country. So the way we produce our reports is usually they are introduced by the words and comments of the president of the country we are working in. So in this case, obviously, it will be introduced by the words and comments of President Goodluck Jonathan. Afterwards, we move on to the relationship between both countries, the US and Nigeria. There are many things happening. The relationship between both countries is something that comes from many years ago. There is a binational commission signed in 2010, which the aim is to help Nigeria to achieve Vision 2020, amongst other things. We will be talking about the US being the second largest foreign investor here in Nigeria, about the importance of the exports and imports that both countries have. Well, in the end, we will be talking about everything that is happening right now at July, for example, to Abuja. And then we move on to the sectors, or states in this case, in order to make a complete and comprehensive report on Nigeria. For us, well, one of the aims of the report is not only promoting investment opportunities, but also changing Nigeria's international perception. Sorry, that when you open an international newspaper, most of the times the only things that appear from Nigeria are always the same things: Boko Haram, kidnapping, oil theft. There are little things spoken about Nigeria, but the truth and the thing is that there are many other things happening in Nigeria. So this is why we are here, to commission a report in order to contribute for understanding what's happening in Nigeria. It's very important that we talk to each of the governors in order to describe the different opportunities available in the different states, and well, because each of the states has unique characteristics and opportunities. So in this case, well, we've already been traveling to many of the states in the north, such as Kano, Kaduna, where we saw you, for example, Enugu. We saw the acting governor from Enugu. We also have been in Katsina. Now we are here, and next week we will be between Ogun State and Delta State. In addition to the situation of the states, always in a positive tone, the idea is to promote, and the idea is to work all together. We will also be portraying the key sectors in order to develop the economy and in order to make or contribute to make this report comprehensive and positioning Nigeria where it deserves to be. So in this way we are also going to be talking about banking and finance. We spoke recently to Ms. Evelyn Okutu, for example, Bank of Industry, and how she's empowering women amongst other things, and SMEs. And yesterday we also spoke to Mr. Robert Oria from Nexim Bank, since well, it's really important, the relationship between Nigeria and the US in terms of exports. We are here today, well, not only because we are in the largest state of Nigeria, but also because we are in a centralized city, Mina. We really appreciate you receiving us in such a special day as today. But we want to talk with you. We want to have a conversation in order so that we can have a first-hand explanation of all the projects you are conducting nowadays in these two terms you have been as the chief servant. We would like to talk with you. Want to talk with you about the JAMA. I pronounce it well. JAMA forum. We want to talk with you about the importance of educating and how you implemented free education and the importance you are giving to girls' education to agriculture. Agriculture is one of the key sectors in order to contribute to diversify the economy. You are aware of this and you are implementing many facilities in order so that agriculture can come back and contribute in the powerful way it used to contribute before to the GDP. So we are aware also that we are making an international call in order to attract FDI and promote and facilitate exports here from Niger State to abroad. So this is why we are here, in order to help you communicate all these achievements and these stories of success and all these opportunities available in the different sectors, not only agriculture and education, but also housing, and you, sir, as the chief servant, we want you to talk to you about your background, your international background, your experience in the abroad, and also that maybe it's because you were before in the Ministry of Education, to change, and we want to talk especially about the power state. We want to talk not only because
Sadiq, what did you do yesterday night?
Niger State, to explain us all the projects you have been developing during these 2 terms, and thank you first of all for giving us this wonderful opportunity.
Thank you.
I would like to ask your opinion on the report.
No, I've been familiar. What am I paying? They say, oh no, this one is free. I say, okay.
Well, we might be offering you a promotional opportunity.
So I seems like a researcher's destination. When somebody wants to write on Nigeria, sometimes he goes directly to such reports, at least to get the first impressions of what to do or what not to do.
Yeah.
And many people who will want to invest, they will want to know something about the country before coming.
The good thing about this report, and always in a positive mood, we talk about the truth, we position the challenges in a good way. I mean, we are all working together. The idea is to position Nigeria where it deserves to be. So people trust on us, otherwise we wouldn't have been 20 years producing these reports. And so far, I would like to show you, for example, some of the people we already met.
Is that to convince me what to do?
Sorry?
Is that to convince me what to do?
But it's just because I enjoy showing pictures.
Okay.
I was living in Abuja for 2 months. When I was there, I used to update him almost every week with all the new steps we were conducting and carrying out.
To illustrate that, we're speaking to people north, south, east, and west. You know, we're not in media just based in Lagos. You know, we really are making strides to speak to lots and lots of people, and also there is a groundswell of support for what we are doing here, and that's why very busy people such as yourself and government ministers are taking time out to see us, because they believe it is very important to communicate a powerful message of confidence to the US and therefore the international community. So, the relationship between the US and Nigeria, and take you back to August and the US-Nigeria Trade and Investment Forum, when President Barack Obama was talking about Nigeria as, quote unquote, the world's next economic success. In your opinion, how can the US, as a strong trading partner with Nigeria, help to unlock Nigeria's greatness across many different sectors and build a more prosperous future for this great nation?
One, I believe that with what has happened already, US has become the natural trading partner, the natural foreign relation partner, the natural way we were colonized by the British, but by the way and manner the US has come and has grown, and the way and manner Nigerian independence came about, and the diversity that is in the country is more reflective of an American society. And anybody who is familiar with that terrain will know that we have more now to learn from the US environment, not only in terms of trade, but in terms of every aspect of our relationship, including our political terrain, where so far now we have adopted the American system of presidential system, and therefore an educational system too. Virtually we have gone American. So I believe that that kind of relationship will only enhance the trade relationship that we have already. But it's almost like you will call it a skew relationship, because the trade now is more reflected on oil. But with what the new Obama administration is doing with oil, it means we need to diversify more so that the trade relations will be maintained, and it will be more in terms of equal benefits rather than one-way traffic. And in Niger State in particular, apart from other places, in Niger State the shea butter, which I'm told that is probably the best in this region, and the Americans have started coming in, and we want to encourage that. But I think it's going to be more in terms of the ALGOA approach, that we need to encourage people to be more. There is this problem with many people because they haven't gone out to see what obtains on the ground. And the American approach to business too is not everything has to be profit quickly kind of approach. So it means we need to expose our people to appreciate. When you come to negotiate with an American, it's not like your normal negotiation with the Chinese or your negotiation with the Arabs and co. So we need to appreciate that and to encourage people to really open up and to also visit and to be more patient with American investors. Because they want really to see things in the open. They want to understand. They want to see the trend of issues that are coming up. So I believe that the relationship will be more now as people understand how to relate. Lucky enough, language is not a barrier. And like I said, because of the diversity and the nature of our society, we seem to share so many things in common. And I believe that the Obama administration will do more by opening up the American society. The visa lottery that was on, the kind of, well, it used to be that America also used to sponsor African students, which has stopped for some time now because it's believed that many African countries can afford to do that. But sometimes it's not the question of affording or not. The question of having people, a class of people that will say, I was sponsored by Ford Foundation, I was sponsored by so to do this. It helps a lot in creating the goodwill that people find it easy to relate with particular countries.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Chief Seven, for outlining the next steps, hopefully, in that special relationship. Now, we're in Niger today, dubbed the Power State, so called because not just from my interpretation of the hydroelectric power stations that you have here, but also because Niger is a powerhouse of Nigeria. It has the biggest landmass here as well, of course. But in terms of the power sector, you're taking strides to make sure Niger looks at alternative sources of energy, such as biomass and solar, for example. What tangible steps are you taking so that the power states, power sector here in Nigeria, in Niger State rather, succeeds?
Well, apart from the biomass and the solar and coal, is that, like you said, the power state in terms of energy, we have already 3 hydropower stations. 2 are coming up, contracts have been given. We have Shiroro, Kayenji and Jeba, then Zungiru and Gurara are coming up. And in terms of the other power that we may refer to as a powerhouse, not only the landmass, but also that Nigeria got its name from Niger State. The amalgamation of Nigeria in 1914 took place in the present Niger State. And in fact, the history of Nigeria, even Abuja, took its name from a town in Niger State, which has now become Suleja. So by the time you really go around that, Niger State is the proper power state in terms of and the centrality of the states too, in relation to the south and the north, also helps to give it the kind of investment climate in terms of energy. Because if we could have this 5 power stations, then you can be sure that we will not be complaining about energy source, and which is actually the main driver for investment. Then when you look at also the nature of the land, then you are talking of agriculture, because we have 10% of the Nigerian landmass, of which 85% is really arable. And when you look at in other staple food, or food that we really import, Nigeria needs about 7 million metric tons of rice, and Nigeria only produces about 3 million metric tons of that. And Niger State gives about 500,000 metric tons of that. But with more investment to come in terms of mechanization and in terms of processing, Niger State alone may be able to produce that 7 million that is needed for the country. And we're talking of, if you add other states like Benue and this state in the east-west, Ebonyi State, then it means we may be able even to export after feeding Nigeria. It is really very unfortunate that sometimes we have to import this rice, killing the internal production. I'm very happy that the current administration of Goodluck Jonathan has resolved to stop the importation, therefore forcing us to have to get investors, forcing us to have to produce enough for the consumption of Nigerians. So in terms of that, and in terms of other agricultural products, Niger State is actually what we can call the riverine state, with River Niger, River Kaduna, River Gurara and Co. We are actually the riverine area, so we have no problem with regard to if we want, but the problem is the mechanization. But if we want, we can even have a 3 cycle in a year to plant whatever we want, the rice. In fact, just recently I just inaugurated the dry season rice farming in some of the local governments. And if we can have people that will come in, we have already established by law to be able to guarantee the investment of people, that either through the public-private partnership or through other, and then we have other institutions that are in place to ensure that corruption is fought to the barest minimum, and that nobody, either in terms of 419 or other things, where an investor will be cheated out of his resources. So we have put that in place in Niger State, and what remains now is really to go and get people to come in. We have fought in terms of the security situation in Niger State in particular. Today we are adjudged actually one of the, if not the safest state so far in the country. After we have had our problems with Suleja, you know, because of its proximity to Abuja, many people thought that if they caused problem in Suleja, it would be said they had caused problem in Abuja. But after arresting that situation, now in Niger, we are very proactive, we are very conscious of making sure that we secure the lives and property of our people. So that also should be an incentive for an investor to come into the state.
Indeed, those sound like very... in terms of state development, indeed, if I can say, the bedrock of your administration has been many different sectors, developments in many different sectors, such as agriculture, which you mentioned, health, infrastructure, education, of course.
We started with the establishment of a vision. To say that given our position in the country, given our population, given our landmass, with any states out of the 36 states of the Federation. And therefore we looked at, yes, there are some states who, by the nature of things now, even if they do nothing, they will earn a lot of money. So we said, why can't we compete to be among the top 3 economies among the 36 states? Don't ask me which are the 2. All I want is to follow it properly, is to say, what do you do now? You don't have the oil, or now we have discovered we have the oil to in Niger State, but it has not been explored for us to give us the 13% derivation. But agriculture, if properly anchored, and if we can get it properly mechanized, then we should be able to really, if not even become number 1, because it is only food that is never wasted. People will buy if you have it. Unlike other things that you may have, other natural resources that people may not necessarily buy. But food, whether in form of a restaurant or in form of a farm product, people will still buy. So we gathered that and we made sure that the farmers are properly mobilized, the farmers are given the kind of incentive that they need, meaning that some of the farm implements and some of the byproducts that they will look for, like fertilizer, comes in now. We will have a tax holiday from 5 to 7 years, so that he is able to generate something before he starts payment of taxes and other fees. And we also said that every local government must set aside up to 20,000 hectares of land for a large farmer who would want to come in to do this. And for the rice, we've already identified a place where we'll have up to 100,000 hectares of land for farming. Then you come back to education. Because no matter what you do, if you don't have an educated group of people, you run into a lot of problems. So we said discrimination against certain group of people, like the female gender, in terms of education. Many of them taken out of school by the time they are 13, 14 for marriages. We made sure that the law is in place. Nobody marries until she reaches the age of at least 17, 18. And then we discovered also that many of them is not because of evil religion, it's because of economy. Their economic fortunes is not enough to pay for the school fees. So we said, and the law is there, in fact, in Nigeria. We have the Universal Basic Education Law that says from elementary to the junior secondary school, it must be free and compulsory education. Many states, many people don't implement it, but here in Nigeria we said we must implement it. And we made it free, nobody pays, and we even make sure that in the final examination, the fees we pay. And we discovered quickly within a short time the tripling of the school enrollment, which brought its own challenges in terms of the school infrastructure, the classrooms, and indeed the quality of teachers too, which we took on our stride to say, well, you cannot look for improvement in one section without improving the other sections of it. And we said, okay, the minimum qualification for a teacher must be this, and we must strictly adhere to that. At the moment, actually, we don't have problem with teachers per se, because we have improved to the extent that we have up to about 65% of qualified teachers in our classrooms. The others will have to make do with those who are degree holders but not necessarily have teaching qualification. 120 pupils in a classroom. But we make sure now that it should not be more than 48. If it must be more, then it must not be more than 50 pupils in a classroom. And we have achieved that so far.
Yeah.
And in terms of infrastructure, like again, well, what has proved to be an advantage can also be disadvantage because we have the landmass, so the largest federal routes. And because of this division of certain roads belonging to the federal government, certain roads belonging to the states, we also have a problem in terms of connecting, particularly with regard to the federal routes. Otherwise, being the center of how to cut across Niger State. So that we have a problem with regard to some of the road infrastructure. But the ones that belong to the state and the local government, we have taken over to ensure that we do them. But I must give credit also to the federal government. The effort is on, but the work is large. The railway system, which we have been trying, because if you look at the state capital, in fact, we can say is a creation of the railway in itself in terms of its growth and development. And when the railway went down, we really felt it. But I'm happy that now the rail lines have been repaired and that the railway has done the economic thing. But what we, in terms of infrastructure, Mina Airport, which is actually 15 minutes from Abuja Airport, was created specifically as an alternate to Abuja. Because the concept was not to make Abuja a commercial center. It was supposed to be a political center. Then Mina would have served as the commercial center.